Today we are back inside of Diablo Immortal, and I'm here to tell you guys why you're gonna fall in love with the monk. What is up, my friends? My name is Echo, and yes, yesterday we talked about the barbarian and why you and I fell in love with the barbarian. But when I played the technical alpha, I did have a second favorite class. That was the monk. Now we're talking about, like the barbarian, another melee combat troop or hero, but very, very different. Actually, extremely different from the barbarian. Although you are up in there ground and pounding, you are a lot weaker and you don't have as much HP as you do have when you are the barbarian. So you need to utilize your mobility. And the mobility portion of this character is why you are going to fall in love with this hero, because the monk gives you maybe some of the most mobility inside of the game. It may be combated with the demon hunter, which is going to be in an upcoming video, so make sure you stick around for that one. But the movement of the monk makes you feel like you are extremely slow if you go back and play the barbarian. And that was something that I actually didn't like about the barbarian class. When I played as the monk, I frequented it. I played it a lot. And then when I would go play the barbarian, it was like, barbarian's kind of slow, doesn't have that same movement speed. But there's a reason. It's because the barbarian doesn't need that movement speed. The barbarian doesn't need to be running away because it can take all of that damage. It can tank and really protect everyone else, including a hero like the monk. Now, the monk has skills that are just based on movement and splash damage. And a lot of these skills you're going to be seeing in the footage right here. So don't focus on me. Don't focus on my face. Focus on the gameplay, because you're going to see the 7-sided strike, which is one of my favorites. It just happened when all of the holograms of yourself come in and kick the enemies around you. You have the bell, as I called the Liberty Bell, although that's not what it's actually called, that would come down and do tons of splash damage. There's a 7-sided strike as well. And you could even, like with the barbarian, how you would spawn that guardian, you can spawn 3 guardians that'll protect you and fight with you alongside you, utilizing one of the monk's skills as well. They don't stick around for as long, though. I believe they're only there for 10 seconds versus the 30 seconds they were there for the barbarian. So it was something like 10 seconds of activity, 30 seconds of cooldown, where the barbarian had 30 seconds of activity with 10 seconds of cooldown. Those are not exact, so don't hold me to those. But we're actually in the raft scene. We haven't looked at this footage in a while. This is actually a scene from Billifin, which was the final stage of the Diablo Immortal Technical Alpha. So I'm actually glad that this is the footage that I chose for this video, because you're getting a nice deep look inside of something that you probably haven't seen here before. Because remember, all the footage we are looking at is stuff that we've seen from the Technical Alpha that I did recording it live and stuff like that. These are actually recordings of my live streams. So if you're looking for a class that is a combination of something that is super fast and agile, plus you want something that has the ability to use melee attacks rather than ranged attacks, well then, the monk is for you. And before I got the Technical Alpha, I was really excited about the monk. It was probably my most, the hero that I was most excited about playing was this monk. And it's just because it's just such a different combat. You can also jump yourself off walls, bounce off this wall onto that wall, and mobility, you won't ever feel encumbered when you're using the monk class. So if you're someone that just can't sit still, I'm kind of like this sometimes myself, but you can't sit still, you're always fidgeting, you always need to be moving, you always need to be hopping around and going crazy, I don't think there's a better class than the monk for someone that wants to do that. And this isn't something that I talk about much on my Diablo Immortal channel, but I do have an Instagram where I post a lot of pictures from Diablo Immortal of myself and my day, and from other games that I'm playing. If you want to come on through the Instagram, it's going to be linked down below. And also, we got merch. You can go grab merch. It's going to be the pinned comment down below. Who wouldn't want to drink coffee out of this mug? 25% better. And I have to say, from playing all of the classes, I do believe that mobility is even better with the monk. There are those helpers we were just talking about, those guardians. I think that the monk really does do it even better than the demon hunter, although the demon hunter does have some skills that really keep you moving really nicely. We'll talk about that in an upcoming video. But I mean, the monk skills are on point. Also, they synergize well together. And I don't have particular examples to show you on the screen here today, but like all of the troops here, all of the heroes inside Diablo Immortal, if you combine this skill with this skill, it's going to have this effect, where if you combine this skill with this skill, it's going to have that effect. Plus, you can also combine skills from this hero with your teammate using these skills on that hero, and you can have different combinations. So it's like science. It is science. So let's talk about gear with the monk. You can really look pretty darn cool with the monk when you really start to gear up. And this is kind of similar with all of the heroes inside Diablo Immortal. You start out looking kind of basic, like you just look like a normal, typical hero. But then you start getting some sick gear, you start leveling yourself up, and you start looking pretty awesome. And that's the way that I felt with the monk. I didn't feel overly special looking when I started, but then once I started getting some really cool gear, it looked amazing. Now, I want to mention, there were no skins, there were no, cosmetics implemented in the technical alpha. So I'm really excited to see how Blizzard is going to implement these. Remember, we're looking at a very small character, not like something in other games where the character is much larger, where you would really see a huge difference with those skins. Notice also with the some of the gear I'm wearing, that swirling wind effect around my monk. Love that, so much so that I didn't want to get rid of that piece of armor. It wasn't a skill, it was a particular piece of armor, and I don't remember which one it was at this point in time. But I'm actually enjoying watching the gameplay here from Billifin. I hope you guys are as well. But I really think that when we implement PvP inside of the game, and when you have winners that are basically shown at the end of a battle, they're basically on a pedestal, we're going to really be able to showcase the skins that we purchase or that we get for free from unlocking achievements inside of the game. And that's going to be a great platform to show off things that you've earned and attained in the game. If you're looking at it just here, you really won't see that because, well, it's such a small character and it's from a top-down perspective, where if you were to click on someone, you could totally see their gear set because of that skill system and how it displays on the screen. It's incredible, by the way. It is really well done. But who is going to do that? Most people won't be spying on other people just to see what their gear is, in all honesty. I might be. Maybe I'll do a video when the game comes out on compare like challenges, who has the best looking gear. I can give rewards to the best geared up players that I just randomly encounter. But how would I contact them? I guess in game. Ideas popping through my head. Speaking of ideas, guys, I have had about 3 or 4 voice note questions sent to me over on Discord. It's going to be for my next AMA, Ask Me Anything video, where I answer any questions that you guys have about Diablo Immortal. I would love it if some of you guys from this community were able to join up on my Discord server and send me some of your questions. All you have to do is record a voice note on your phone, send me a DM over on Discord with that voice note. I'll play it, record it in a video, and answer your questions live, just like that. So I guess what we can compare so far is the Barbarian, which we talked about last time around, and the Monk, which we're talking about today. Would you prefer the mobility of the Monk, being able to jump from here to there, do your kick to get yourself out of there, bounce yourself off the walls, maintaining massive mobility with a melee attack? Or would you prefer a Barbarian who's much slower and much less capable of bouncing himself from here to there, but can take a ton more damage just posting himself up right in front of the enemy and just taking them down with all that splash damage that he has to offer? Remember, all of the heroes, all of the characters that we have inside Diablo Immortal are extremely well balanced, and they all play very well. This is all just up to you and the type of play style that you want to play in Diablo Immortal. If you want that tanky character that is just not going to be beaten up, you want the Barbarian. If you want to do melee with mobility, it's the Monk. If you want range and you want to have that mobility as well, you're talking about the Demon Hunter. And if you want range, it's a little bit squeaky, but has really great skill progression and working with skills together, you're talking about the Wizard. Crusader and Necro, we have yet to know. We haven't gotten our hands on it yet, but soon enough, I feel it in my bones. You see me, guys, right now just grabbing some of my rewards as I go on through. This was not planned for the video, but because it's in the footage, why not just give you an inside look at this? It's like a perk for watching until the end of the video. First of all, if you've made it this far in the video, hashtag made it down below. Make sure you come on through my Discord server if you want to submit me those voice notes with your questions, or if you just want to hang out with an amazing community. I legit woke up this morning with 150 messages in the Diablo Immortal section of just people talking to me and talking to each other about the game. The hype is coming. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I think we have the Demon Hunter coming up as the next one, breaking it down to see why you will fall in love with the Demon Hunter. But I guess I'll ask, did you fall in love with the monk today? I know I love him. Have a great day, guys. Be good.